happening. Oh, it does
Right.
come up with a sign that says broadcast is live.
That's right. So guess what? We're live. And I'm going to introduce myself, then I'll introduce Jessy, and I'll ask Jessy to introduce herself because I think her introduction is very interesting. Hello, everybody. This is Linda G. Robert. I am your Back in the Groove Again coach, and I happen to be the moderator of this great group called Confident, Inspired, and Aspiring Limitless Women's Group. And one of the reasons we're here today with Jessy is she's one of our members. And by the way, we're also on YouTube, but she is one of the members of the Confident, Inspired, and Aspiring Limitless Women's Group. And she has an interesting background. And I think it's important for members to know other members, especially given the fact that this group is not necessarily for people in business women, but there are a lot of women in our group that do have businesses. And I think it's a great way for the members to get to know one another and to network, possibly, and to build a community. So, Jessy, can you tell us a little bit about who you are? Just a little bit?
A little bit about who I am? No, I've been on this planet for 66 years, and there's a lot to me. But most recently, I would say the last 20... Stop laughing at me. The last 25 years, I became what most people would label an energy healer. And I don't like the word healer because everybody heals themselves, but my clients call me their body whisperer because we tend in our society to be very disconnected from our body. We're all in our heads. We've been taught in school to be in our head, to think things out, make your pros list, your cons list, use logic, try to put everything in compartments. And life isn't like that.
No,
okay?
no.
When I was a kid, I always played doctor or nurse. When I was in high school, I was really good at languages and I was really good at sciences. And I wanted to be a doctor. That was my plan. When I was in grade 11, my guidance counselor said to me, "You're from a broken home. You might as well just go out there and be barefoot and pregnant." And
Really? No, seriously?
Really, yeah, this was supposed to be my coach. Didn't tell me anything about university, college, anything like that. He had already made up his mind. I had good grades. I was really excelling in all the languages and stuff. And whatever his mindset was, and that was the mindset in the 1970s still. Okay, that wasn't that long ago.
No, yeah.
But it was the best thing I could have heard because you tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just who I am.
Bring it on.
It is. It's bring it on. And I never recognized that in myself. Instead, I started looking. I actually made a timeline a few weeks ago because I felt like, wow, I don't get this world. I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now. How am I supposed to help people? Do I change my business? Do I not change my business? Do I want to retire? I'm 66. My bookkeeper said to me, "Why aren't you retired?" And I'm going, why would I be retired? I'm having too much fun. I'm not washed up here. Excuse me. So I made a timeline and it was just a stripe on a piece of paper. And as things popped in my head, I wrote down 1996, 1990, this job, that job. And the first time in my life, I've looked at it and gone, holy wow, girl, have you ever done a lot? And 5 years ago, I had to promise maybe 7 years ago, I had to promise my son that I would stop being an activist because I used to run the Monsanto rally up here in Barrie. Every May, we'd have a parade, we'd have City Hall set up. I would bring in all the beekeepers and the organic farmers so people would know that there's a choice, right? And I've been like that my whole life. My ex once said to me, "You're going to be in politics. Can you stop wanting to change the world?" I was like, no, I can't. It's going to be a really good place.
Yeah, it's part of your blueprint. It's part of your personality.
It's part of my personality. If I see something needs to be fixed and everybody's in agreement, we're going to change it. But going back to high school, I sort of sat back and thought, well, how do I get to do what I want? Like, if I don't want to be a doctor, what do I want to be? Because my other dream had been to be a ballerina on stage.
Okay, hang on, Jessy. Just a moment here. I need to ask a little bit more about the relationship between ballet dancer and what you're doing now. Is there?
Yes, actually.
Maybe there is.
I never thought about it. I was a little kid who was always flitting and dancing around the house. My mother used to call her fairy. So they put me, when I was 6 years old, in dance class. That was ballet and tap and jazz. But ballet was the most
Right.
fun. Ballet was graceful.
Oh,
Ballet, I
yes.
could kick my feet up. I just felt like
Yes.
a fairy, right? And I
Yes.
took ballet until I was 17, 18.
Wow. So a
Yeah,
good part of your youth.
it is part of it was how I took care of my body physically. Okay.
Yes.
I ran the dance classes at high school, helping the other girls get physical because I'm not a basketball player. I played baseball, but I don't love it. Football, I couldn't care less. Chasing a ball and that kind of stuff doesn't interest me. But me
Mm-hmm.
moving to music, I can't
Mm-hmm.
stop. I'm one of these
Right.
people who's always swaying or always moving and feeling my
Right.
energy in space kind of thing.
Right.
And but I missed my mark on stage. I was doing a leap and I flew off the stage with my legs in a split and I tore the ligaments in both my legs.
Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, agony.
How
And
long did
we
that
didn't
hold
have
you back for? How long did that hold
um
you back?
I guess I limped all through grade 12 and 13.
Oh.
Stairs were really hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
also had bought into the doctor. They didn't have physiotherapists back then. Okay. Or
Mm.
if you did, you had to have money. It wasn't covered by healthcare or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I bought into the you will never dance again.
Oh. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess when I was 30, I missed it so much. I took belly dancing instead and I did something else. And then I started doing yoga and my body just kept my favorite form of exercise is hula hooping. Believe it or
Yeah.
not,
Well,
it is
if
so much
you can
fun.
do it, I can
I
never do that.
There are hula hooping classes that you can take. And I only took it because I had to drive my daughter to her hula hooping class.
Oh,
And I
wonderful.
thought, well, if I'm going to sit here, I'm not going to sit in my car waiting for an hour. I'll take the class too. And I
Yeah.
figured I would laugh through it. And after 8 weeks, I was so graceful, so fluid. I stopped laughing
Mm.
and my body just felt exhilarating. You can hula hoop with your hands. You can hula hoop with your legs. You can stand, you can walk with a hula hoop. It's just a rhythm. And when you have that rhythm, your body feels alive. It feels happy. We're too sedentary in our lives. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's sitting in front of Zoom. And when
That's
we sit in
right.
front of Zoom, your lymphatic system doesn't move. Your blood doesn't pulse. You're not breathing properly. You've got
Yes.
3 diaphragms, not one. And if they're not in alignment, we become incontinent from sitting too much.
Mm.
Who knew? Okay. It's like
Right.
the body loves to move. The fluids in the body, the muscles, the oxygen, everything is when we're moving. Whoever invented chairs has ruined our life. We should
Right.
all be sitting here squatting. Then we're in
Right.
perfect alignment. Our back is stable and everything's cool. And it doesn't
So,
hurt.
yeah. So is that, I mean, and I want to talk in a little bit about your whisperer title, right?
Mm.
Your body whisperer title. But right now you're talking about, since we're all in front of Zooms or computers all day long, what would be a quick way to relieve some tension or to maybe create a bit more energy in our body?
Oh, you're
Like
going to love
right
this.
now, I
Leave
don't
the body
know.
whisperer stuff. We'll do that. We'll do another show. Okay.
Okay.
The second best exercise you can give your body is yawning.
Oh.
Yawning stretches 16,000 pain
Mm.
receptors in your jaw and 12,000 across here. All of these pain receptors are linked to all the nerve supply in your brain stem in your body, all the way down to your tailbone. And it's like going through the fuse, the old fuse boxes that they had in houses where you had to screw in this little thing here. And okay, now we have breaker panels, but it's like going through all the fuses and saying, oh, this one's blown. Don't put a penny behind it. Let's replace the fuse. Oh, this one's blown.
Mm.
So as you yawn, your whole body does this scan. Oh, it's like pushing a virus
Mm.
scan on the computer, beep, and it does its
Oh.
thing. When you yawn, that's what happens in your body. If you
Mm.
can't yawn, some people will go, and it gets stuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just do it for everybody. Did you ever play the game when you were a kid? I grew up in apartment buildings. When we were bored, we'd ride the elevator and we would yawn, the biggest earth shattering yawn, to see how many people in the elevator yawned with us.
No, never tried it, but let's do it.
Okay. So just inhale, drop your jaw. Inhale deeper. And if it releases, your body relaxes. Now, for those watching the show who couldn't yawn, quite often we've had a bump on the head from the side of the car, from a kitchen cabinet. When the brain locks in, it's more like fish scales when we're alive. It doesn't look like the plastic skeletons at Halloween. Okay, if this little micromillimeter gets jammed into that little micromillimeter, all of a sudden half your head can't release. If you're wearing dentures, it can't release. If you've got braces, it can't release. And where did I want to go with this? Yawning actually helps you unbung a lot of that. Yawning helps you relax your vagus nerve. Have you heard about the vagus nerve?
Yes.
Okay, so many
people. It helps to relax it.
It helps to relax it. It helps sort of bring it alive, and it goes, oh, I can check and reboot. Oh, you want me to take out the tension? Let's do it. So that's what yawning does. Orgasm's the best exercise, but I don't like it when you do it in public, okay?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it might be worth looking into, Jessy.
Practice makes perfect. But
yeah, well, I'm trying to think whether I should yawn or have more orgasms. Hang on a second here.
Do both. Your body will be happy. The body loves to be sensual. The body loves to be touched. The body loves feeling everything. It's that simple. It's that simple.
And normally, yeah, I'm just wanting to go back to the orgasm piece because I'm thinking when we have an orgasm, sometimes our mouths are open as well.
And you can be moaning or groaning or yelling or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the benefits of yawning. I think it's great. And whether we should...
Getting up from your chair and moving around is excellent. That left, right motion. Putting your hands behind your head like this. Okay, that is powerful. So energetic-wise, when you link your fingers like this, you're opening up your chakras and energy. When you rest where the head and the neck meet right there, if you're tense like this, you're not doing anything. If you relax into it, your whole spine and everything has to relax down into your tailbone. And all of a sudden, you'll find a homeostasis where your core muscles are straight but relaxed. Your head is being supported here, and you'll probably start yawning, believe it or not. And if you look forward and just take 5 big, deep breaths, then roll your eyes, not your head, to the right. And you don't have to see your elbows. Breathe 5 big, deep breaths, or stop when you yawn, and then bring it back to center. And go back to the other side and do 5 or 6 big, deep breaths. Your vagus nerve will open up. The blood flow will increase. Your heart rate will decrease. Your lung capacity will open. So anytime you sit like this, you've opened up your lung capacity. What I teach in my workshops is, have you ever seen the executives? They put their feet up on the desk like this.
Well,
and they sit
yes.
back like this.
And I was going to bring that up. We've seen that often, but do they know what they're doing when they're doing it though?
No, but their body naturally knows how to open up, because when you've got blood flow, your eyes, the optic nerve is down here. So everything in your spine has to go opposite gravity. Okay. So if your eyes are getting blurry because you're looking at the screen too much, they're dry because we stare with our eyes open. And if we're getting blurry, we stare even more, which compounds the problem. It's about relaxing your posture, because the head itself weighs about 20 pounds. When you're in position where you're bending over like this, it's now weighing about 70 pounds. Your neck isn't made to weigh that. So we've got to pull it back, tuck your chin under, let it rest in alignment on your shoulders, which then comes into alignment with your spine and your tailbone, which the people who sit on those big inflatable balls,
that's
the best way to get into that alignment. Okay. As soon as you do that, you relax the weight on the neck, your blood flow can come up into your eyes will relax, and you can see clearly. So it's not about putting on these things. These are my blue glasses because I really can't stand the computer light. But when you put on glasses that change your vision to make you either see closer or farther away, you're actually preventing your eyes muscles from moving in all directions, because they want you to look right dead center in the center of the thing. So getting up going for a walk down the hall, or standing outside on your front porch or your balcony and looking at all the treetops, looking at all the buildings and houses for birds, because then you're stretching and using the muscles in your eye, which of course gives your eye more oxygen. It gives it more blood flow. It gives it more lymphatics. Your eye is mostly water. Drink water. Okay. Just drink water. And actually, for vision, omega-3s are very good as well. The oils, our body needs more oil than we've been led to believe. And that way you don't have the dry, itchy tears and things like that.
So, what got you interested in all this? You said about 20, 30, was it 20, 30 years ago that you started developing an interest?
Going back to high school, I wanted to be a doctor. He said I couldn't be a doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought, what is it I want to do with my life? How am I going to do this? And I thought, what else do I like to do? Well, I'm really good at languages. So I said, okay, I'll be an airline stewardess. And in those days, it was called stewardess, not flight attendant. And everybody said, no, you're not tall enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not smart enough. You don't speak enough languages. I speak German, French, and English. What do you mean not enough? I'm sure I could pick up Italian and Spanish if I had to. I have an ear for listening, but I've also learned I don't listen with my ears to language. I feel people's energy. Have you ever watched children play in different languages? They don't need words to play. Okay. It's all this mental, psychic, wrong.
It's intuition. They seem to be using their intuition a lot.
It's feeling. It's hearing and feeling other people's thoughts and joy and patterns of energy. So I became a flight attendant. Oh, you want to hear about Moxie? What was it called? The library used to have a book of all the companies that are in the world and all the head offices and all the vice presidents. There was a name for that. That must be online now. But so I went through, and there were 178 airlines in the world. I applied to every single one of them. And then I followed up on the phone with every single one of them.
You were determined.
I was nuts. But I'm like that. I'm very goal-oriented. If I have an inspiration, nothing can stop me. So I called up one guy in Norway House, and he's in Northern Ontario, bush pilot country. And he said, honey, we don't need flight attendants. And I said, well, I can serve coffee. He says, we go and deal with minors. It wouldn't be safe for you on the plane. But Transair is having a, what do you call it? I call it a cold call. They have a different job fair. I'd never heard of job fair. And he said, it's in Toronto at the Royal York Hotel. Do you know where that is? And I'm going, yeah, I live 3 blocks away. What is this? And I'd never heard what Transair was not on my list. Transair was a Winnipeg airline that when other planes from other countries broke down at the airport, they would take over the flight. They would use their plane and ship the people back and forth. They were hiring. I took my resume like this, and I got a red magic marker, and I painted the side of my resume. So if it's in a stack of paper, that'll show, right? I put a picture up here, which people didn't do in those days. I had a picture of me, and I don't think it was a very good one. I wanted them to feel my personality. And I walked into the Royal York, and it's all marble floors and brass chandeliers, and it's so opulent and luxurious. And I'm a kid from, what would you call me? I was in the wrong part of town growing up. Okay. I was on that side of the tracks. Sure. And I walked in and I thought, I don't belong here. Like all the doubt hit. And I'm looking at all these people in suits and briefcases. Like, I'm 19 years old. Like, what do I know of this part of the world? And I thought, come on, girl. Let's just do it. I don't know what angel was pushing me. And I walked to the area where they had this fair, and people are lined up along the walls of this corridor, big, beautiful wooden doors. And I'm looking at them going, oh my God, they're so old. I mean, they probably were 20 or 25 or something. But to me, it was like, oh, they're really experienced. I'm in the wrong place. And just as I stood there.
Okay, Jessy, just a moment. Abdul is saying hello. Abdul watches us on YouTube. He does this. And he's asking this question. And how is she? Well, let's introduce, can you introduce yourself briefly to Abdul? Just very briefly, because he came in late.
Sure.
So who
Hi,
are
everyone.
you, Jessy?
Jessy Morrison, and my clients call me a body whisperer. Okay, so I deal with helping people release allergies, disease, things that doctors say they have to live with forever. And what I help you do is become at home in your own body.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
So
most people are
that
comfortable.
yeah, that leads to body whisper. You inherited that name, apparently.
Yeah, Rogers TV locally called me that, and my clients call me that because I listen. I listen to what your body's telling you. Most people don't. But it's like when I was standing in that corridor, my head went, run. Okay, this is out of your
Mm.
comfort zone, run. And my body said, no, you're going to stand right here. You're just going to stand
Ah,
here. You don't have to do anything, just be present.
right.
And doors opened at the far end. And all the people from the side corridors that were waiting in line, is it my turn? Is it my turn? Is it my turn? I locked eyes with the flight attendant coming out. She had this list, a stack of papers. She came up, she grabbed me by the arm, she took me into that room, and there was a table of 6 people doing the interviewing. So that
Mm.
was stage 5 of the interview process. I skipped 1, 2, 3, 4. She took me in.
Because you connected with her. I mean,
Possibly,
you
or
yeah,
the universe put me in the right place at the right time.
right,
I
right.
don't know. I held my ground. I was getting grounded and letting go of fear. And I just stood there. Okay. She could have looked right by me and talked to whoever, but she pulled me in. I did my interview in French, in German, and in English. They had me walk up and down. They had me hold trays full of water pitchers that were out of balance or whatever, which is funny because ballet, we used to walk with a tray on our head or books on our head so that we would glide across the floor.
Right, right.
So I was very graceful. My first flight wasn't. The first flight hit turbulence and the coffee pot went on this guy and the teapot went on that guy. But life is full of adventure, right?
That's right. Now, Abdul is asking if you're from Canada.
Yes, I am.
Of course, he's from
Is
Canada.
Abdul in
Where?
Canada?
No, Abdul is not from Canada. Abdul, can you tell us again where you're from? Oh, I think he's left now. I think he's left. He's from, I don't know if it's South Asia, from not in Canada at all. I can't remember actually.
Totally different energy in different countries too. So
Absolutely
I
right.
did airline flying for about 3 years. And I found
Okay.
out it wasn't what I thought it would be. It
Oh,
wasn't fun. I smelled like cigarette smoke.
he's
Qatar.
from Qatar. Thank you, thank you. And I know you, I've asked you this, Abdul, a few times, and I'm so sorry. Right, thank you. All right, from Qatar, so quite far, quite far.
Yeah, totally different client. I can send you some snow from Canada if you want. I'm trying to get rid of it.
No. All right, so from a young age, I mean, you were still a young woman when you went through this training to be a flight attendant or a stewardess at the time. From a young age, you knew something about your body. You were listening to your body at
And
that time too.
possibly because I had been a dancer for so long. I was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
in tune with all the muscles, the breathing, when I felt graceful and when I was forcing things. But it wasn't
yeah.
necessarily a conscious knowledge. When I left the airlines, I got laid off, and you don't tell me what to do. I'd never heard of layoffs before. I took it very personally. And I
That
went out
sounds
and got a
fired.
job right away. I
Okay.
wasn't going back. They laid me off and didn't appreciate me. And I got a job with my science background from school in pharmaceutical, in just
Oh.
customer service, things like that, learning
Mm-hmm.
what the products and everything was. And from there, I moved into on the road because you don't keep me locked behind a desk very long. And I started making the rounds and being a salesperson across all of Ontario and
Right.
absolutely loving it. I could never work in retail because I can't wait for clients to come to me. Okay. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have something to tell you. I'm going to go out there and tell you. It's just who I am. And it's
Absolutely.
funny
Mm-hmm.
because I thought I was shy.
Hmm.
Like, is that a shy personality?
I
But
don't
people
think
all
so.
my life had told me, oh, she's so shy. Well, no, I spoke 3 languages. I never know which language I had to pull out of my brain. So I would watch, like I did in that
Yes,
corridor, to see how do I assess the situation? How
of
am I safe?
course.
Who do I go to? I'm a watcher, but I can
Mm-hmm.
watch very quickly, right? Or maybe I'm a feeler. I feel the energy. Like I will not walk down
Mm-hmm.
the street if my body says, that's not right. I won't ask, why is it not right? And logically go through it. I'll just go, no, it's not right. My daughter and I've done that many times. Okay,
Right.
she's more intuitive than I am. So
I was
I
going
had
to say, yeah, very
respect for
intuitive.
her.
Hmm.
But pharmaceutical gave me a taste for changing the world again and getting involved with
Right.
that. But energy
Yes.
work was not on my radar. It wasn't
Hmm.
until after I went through divorce and let me think, 1996, something like that. My daughter had failure to thrive. We were practically living at a sick kids hospital. And that same year, my mother's doctor said to me, Jessy, she's not going to live through the year. Make
Mm.
preparations for the funeral.
Mm.
And I went, I'm divorced. I'm trying to work full time. I've now got 2 little kids to take care of. And I'm supposed to drive all the way to Scarborough to take care of my mom, too. So we
Yeah.
moved my mother in with me, and I figured it would be a year of hospice. Mom turned
Right.
95 this month.
I saw the pictures. I look at the pictures every now and then. Is it what do you Muna? What do you call your
Oma.
mom?
Oma. It's
Oma.
short
That's it.
for
Yeah.
grandma. And the whole city calls her Oma. Everybody knows Oma. It's amazing.
Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
Strong woman. Yeah.
Okay, so Abdul is asking another important question. Are you making vlogs?
I don't even know what a vlog is.
Video blogs, like what I do. I do a lot of videos on my
Oh, I
YouTube
have
channel.
some. There is a Jessy Morrison YouTube, but most of the things I put on YouTube are private for my clients or the workshops and stuff I do. You can find me on Facebook and add me that way. Yeah, I sort
There
of
you
seem to be
go.
everywhere, but I don't consciously set times to do. If it inspires me, I'll try to do a YouTube or something or a Facebook Live, but Facebook Lives are weird. They are just weird.
Well, they might be a little bit different than what we're doing now. Might be a
Yeah.
little bit different. So let's keep going for a few minutes because I also wanted to talk about the emotional wheel that you were showing recently too.
Okay.
Just a little bit about that because we
I had
usually
an
talk.
artist draw up this rainbow, and anybody can,
Yeah.
since I don't know how to share the screen or anything here, anybody can ask me and I'll just send it to you. It looks, hold on.
Well, right. Yes, you might have a copy of it.
It looks like this.
Right. Love
Okay.
it. Yes.
So most of these vibrations are taken from the book that was written in the 60s by Dr. David Hawkins, The Power versus Force. And he measured the frequency of the different emotions, and actually all around the world. And what we found is if this black dot is no life force energy, waiting and wanting for something. Have you ever been waiting for a job interview or waiting for someone to tell you they like you? We hold our breath for weeks until it happens. Up here, we've got things like fear, doubt, drama, worry. Okay, that is where most of our society lives in. Our commercials make us worry. Our TV shows make you think everybody's being murdered and mugged. Our fiction stories are usually mysteries. We get very caught up in energy. We feel
especially
alive.
now too, right? Especially now with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fear and doubt and drama, though, has no creative power to help us create. We create from up here. The feeling of love, the feeling of accepting, encouragement, the feeling of courage is a great emotion. Courage, they say, vibrates at about 200 megahertz. So on when I start training my clients on how to check into their own emotions or their pain is down here at 20 megahertz. If you have a stiff neck, that part of your body is vibrating at 20 megahertz when the rest of you is vibrating at 500. So no wonder my neck feels stiff. And you can literally ask your body, what's going on here? What energy is it? Fear? Is it anger? And your body will respond. The same way as when you want a piece of watermelon, your body grabs for it, and somebody's walking by with horse manure and you go backwards. Our bodies do this all day long. If you start tuning in, you can ask your body, your unconscious mind, questions, and you get responses. And it's like that way you build rapport. Most people are so in their head trying to figure it out by reading a book or something else. They don't know the answers are here. If you're not feeling well, there's something you're not paying attention to. So for me, I say pain means pay attention inwards now.
That's right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I suppose that's why, like with meditation or mindfulness meditation, people
you go
need
up
to
into
quiet.
500 and above, and you just expand out and you step out of your worries. I like to draw a picture for people, and I use this in courses a lot. So on this blank piece of paper, can you see there's a dot?
Yep, I can see the dot.
Yeah, so there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my problem. that dot is my problem. And if I start focusing on how to clear the problem, all I do is see the problem. Okay. Now I
Right.
just see black everywhere. And it's like,
And it
oh,
seems to be bigger and bigger the more you concentrate on it, the more
yes.
you're paying attention to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what people do. Everybody's focused on fixing problems instead of focusing on choosing a life they love, or allowing you to rest your attention on health and vitality. And
Absolutely.
health and vitality is one of those things. You can have health and vitality and still rest your attention on it and have more.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people, we have too much problem solving going on. What we focus on expands. We get
Mm-hmm.
swallowed up by it. We don't find answers in the problem.
That's right. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I was
so
just doing videos on that, and that's exactly right. We see more problems within the problems, unfortunately,
the more
when
we
we
look
put
for, the more we
attention.
find.
That's
And
right.
it's about pulling back and realizing that we are these expansive. You got to think, we are not a blob body. We're not a meat suit. We have 80 trillion cells. That's what scientists tell us. All of those cells are sentient and alive, and they vibrate, and they come together in communities that we call livers or eyes or fingers or mouth or gallbladders. Okay. They're communities like factories that have a job to do, and they know how to do it. When we try to tell our body what to do, we screw it up, because this
Yeah,
mind is a 3D construct, and it
that's
only
right.
looks at what it's learned before. It doesn't look at
That's
what's
right.
possible.
Yeah.
So with my mother, I started learning more of this because mom was 70 at the time. She had angina. Her arthritis was so bad that she couldn't hold a fork. Okay. She couldn't hold it where are we? Hold it this way.
Mm-hmm.
She had to put it
Mm-hmm.
here and try and do this. Okay. She couldn't sew anymore. She couldn't knit. She was really, I'm going to use the word dried up. She was solidifying. She was heavy.
Mm.
She only drank espresso coffee, 4 or 5 of them a day. Okay.
Right.
She ate fresh fruits and vegetables because she liked that, was basically vegetarian. But those coffees, they say for every cup of coffee you drink, you need what, 7 or 8 glasses of water?
Right.
Your body is
Mm-hmm.
mostly water. I took a Reiki class at that time because I needed to learn to relax. Okay. I had a divorce. My daughter's in the hospital. My mother's now moved in with me, and she's an invalid. My son wants to
Absolutely.
jump out of the window because he thinks if he hurts himself, daddy will come back.
Right.
No, if you're
Yes.
dead, you won't see him. And I
Yeah.
was in a career, and it was like, I just need to relax. And that's the whole story. How I found Reiki, it wasn't on purpose. It was the weirdest.
No.
The universe kept putting it there, and I kept saying, that's woo, that's nuts, that's
Well,
insane.
because it sounded nuts, right? I mean, back then when
Well,
Reiki
the
started
language
to
they
become,
used was very esoteric, and they couldn't explain
mm-hmm.
themselves. And it was Japanese. Why would I want to do something Japanese? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know any of that back then. I knew that my body loved to move, that I liked to exercise, that I enjoyed yoga. My yoga teachers were not in the philosophy of yoga. They were just stretching and moving and giving us nice
Right.
butts.
Right.
So there was a whole learning curve. But when I first learned Reiki, within 3 days of having my first attunement, here I am, no money in the bank. My mom's an invalid. My daughter's in hospital, and I'm trying to commute down to Toronto to Sick Kids Hospital. And my whole body went, oh, isn't life beautiful? And my head went, are you nuts? Are you having a nervous breakdown? And my body's going, it's all good. And I needed to know more. I wanted to understand how I could be so relaxed with so much stress going on.
Right.
And so I started investigating. I'm one of these people. I'm a seeker. I learned EFT in the early days. Gary Craig was teaching it. And then I learned about
Right.
these are all meridian points and have to do with acupuncture. What the heck is
Yes.
that? I don't think Nixon had
Right.
even brought acupuncture to North America at that point. And so I learned more. And I am forever learning. Okay. And in the last 26 years, I don't know how many courses and trainings and certifications I have, but not to get better, just because I love it. I want the answers.
Of course, but you're also applying this, right?
That's it.
You're
It's not
you're helping your.
storage for my head. All of
That's
it. My
right.
daughter she's now 29. She is healthy. She has her own healing business. My mom, like, I should bring her in here, 95, is vibrant, alive. The only thing we did have to do is get her some false teeth. No medications in 16, 20 years. And it's like we are such amazing, amazing creatures. Is that the word? Organic structures. I have no word for what human beings are. We are
Yes,
not all the problems they tell us that we are.
that's right. Apparently we can heal ourselves.
We
We've
can,
heard
with the
that
right
many, many
guidance.
times.
We've been taught not to heal ourselves. When they invented
Mhm.
penicillin and all these little medications that here, take a pill, they really took our power away from us because we don't learn about plants. We don't learn about drinking water. For my
Mhm.
mother, I think the biggest thing was, oh, okay, back up a little bit. Reiki energy, people who say, oh, I didn't feel anything when I had a session, it's because you're dehydrated. Water has to be in all of your
Mm.
cells so you can feel it trickle and move up and down.
Ah,
Okay,
mhm.
it's like music. And for me, my first Reiki session, I felt like I had dolphins moving through my body. I felt like I was on vacation and I hadn't had one in 20 years. And I just came out of that session going, wow, what just happened? Because my brain couldn't attach to my previous problems.
It didn't make any sense, right? It just didn't seem to make sense of it.
So with EFT, I started finding out the emotional stuff and what my mother's resentments were against my dad, against the Russians,
Mm.
against, she lived through the Second World War. They had poverty. There was
Yeah,
so much anger. Even if the postman didn't deliver mail in time, her bunions would hurt. There was so much
sure.
anger against
And
men.
they didn't talk about it, did they?
They
I mean, it
store it
wasn't
up.
even,
They store it up. Yeah.
everything was stored up. That's right.
I
Yeah.
remember one day we worked on her bunions accidentally. I had taken her to a concert, or no, I had taken her to a show, and a friend of mine, Dan Mallory, he has taken his family up Mount Everest. So he had these big posters he was showing off at the college and giving a talk about. Well, my mother had lived through an avalanche when she was 12.
Ooh,
So when the talk ended, she couldn't get up. She couldn't
yeah.
get out of her seat. And the man beside her was kind enough to take her by the elbow. I took her by this elbow, and we're leading her to the parking lot like this. And I'm going, what is it? Your back hurts? What happened, Mom? And she goes, I don't know. I
Right.
just can't move. And when I got her home, I was filling her a bath, and I said, I'm just going to do a little body talk on you. Can I ask the body questions? Well, the body came up. It was mad at Bill Clinton for having an affair. It just proved that all men were evil. She had some issues about the avalanche and things like that, but mostly it was all the resentment she had piled up in her life against men.
Mm.
Men were the
Mm-hmm.
enemy. And we took some of this stuff out, and I remember her swatting my hand away because I muscle test. So your hand's on your belly like this, and I lift it up, it gives me a yes. And if I can't move,
Right.
no. And she finally just swatted me away and says, I don't know what this has to do with anything. She got up just fine, had her bath, got in and out, went to bed. And in the morning, she was digging through I had stored away all her pumps and high heels and things, and I was going to donate them. She was wearing her high heels until 3 years ago. The
So
bunion,
no medication, no
no medication.
drugs
They told her
to
she was
cure.
too old to operate. She wanted to have bunion operation. You won't
Right.
recover. Well, they also told her at 70 she was going to die, and she's still here.
Thank goodness. Thank
our,
goodness.
our
Yes.
bodies are made to live long lives,
Yeah,
hundreds of years, not just 100 years.
that's right.
But our thought patterns are part of our energy field. And this is what I help people uncover, the stuff they've buried that they think. I love people and say, oh, I dealt with it. I was molested when I was 9 and I dealt with it. They dealt with it from here up. The
Right.
body's still holding the tension. It has to come
Right.
out viscerally. It has to come out somatically. You ask the body, can you let it go? And it'll go, oh, yeah, I can let it go. And it's like, would you let it go? And it's going,
Right.
no.
I hear that our cells have memories, from what I
They
understand.
apparently have memories all the way
Right.
back to caveman times.
Right.
So not just your lifetime, but your parents' lifetime, your grandparents' lifetime on both sides. So that
Mm-hmm.
family tree that we like to draw out and see where we came from, your body remembers. In
Yeah.
hypnosis, your body will remember.
Yeah.
So
Very,
it's
very fascinating.
fascinating.
So let's chat for just another minute. We're slightly over our time, and it's okay. It's
I'm
been
sorry,
very
I talk too
in,
much.
no, it's fine because it's informative and very educational as well. And I think, like in Abdul's case, he's getting a sense of your personality. That's probably why he asked about the vlog. Sounds really interesting. And I think he might still be watching here now too. I see we still have someone on YouTube, so I'm assuming it's him. Anyways, so how do people find out more about you? You mentioned
But me,
Jessy. Yeah, about your site or about services?
My site is easy. I named it after me. So www.jessy Morrison, Morrison.ca for Canada.
Right.
I am a patriot that way. YouTube, it's Jessy Morrison as well. And my Facebook, I have a beautiful Facebook group called At Home in Your Own Body. And people can join that for free. And I post a lot more in-depth things about the body. My personal Facebook is more uplifting and positive thinking and letting people just in the community and around pull themselves out of the low frequency vibrations. Because we create from a higher frequency. When we're in worry and doubt, we don't.
So I'll be adding that information to the YouTube video.
Sure.
And you might have to give me a bit more information after that. But all right. So before we go, I always ask this question. The group used to be called the Back in the Groove for Women's Group. I can't remember.
I remember that. Yeah.
We went through a whole ordeal to change the name, but I still ask the question: what do you do to get back in your groove? What's one of the things that you do to get back in your?
The simple answer is hula hooping, because it's just fun. But I think all the energy work that I do and learning how the mind works and applying the tools. So many people have certifications and they don't use it. People take NLP to understand language and they don't use it. Or we all are hypnotized every day. Some people are going, oh, hypnosis, it's awful. And so hypnosis cannot make you do something you wouldn't do normally. But every day, if you watch commercials that say life is bad and life is fearful and you're going to get sick, that's hypnosis. Just driving on the street and those white lines that are spaced apart, they put us into this comatose alpha wave. And like we could drive over the lines if we wanted to, but most of us don't. We're pretty complacent. So using tools, like every day when I wake up, I have 2 alarms set, 1 in the morning, and I just go, yes, 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 yes. And I don't say it out loud. It's in my head. And I lie there until my body goes, ka-ching, yes. And I get out of bed. It's that simple. Or I love you. Or some people, my clients, I'll tell them to say, I'm enough. Say, I am enough until it doesn't feel like a lie. And all of a sudden you wake up. Or the other practice we do, and we've done this since my son was little. Take a jar. Get some colored paper because colors are pretty. Every day before you go to bed, write down on 3 different pieces of paper one thing that happened to you that day that you're grateful for. Whether it's I got out of bed today and brushed my teeth, that's good enough. Put it in here, put it in your jar. Okay. Each one of my family members has a jar, including my mom. And every New Year's Eve, we dump it out. And the original intent was to pick 1 or 2 or 3 of these slips of paper and read them to everybody and see what we're grateful for. What we find out, we now go through more than 900 for each of us because it's so fascinating. The same incidences happened to all of us, but our perspective was different.
Yes.
And it's like all the miracles that happen every year, nobody counts their miracles. They just count their problems. If you go into that state of 3 good things that happened to me today and write it down to look at in a month or 2 months or a year, you're going to go, wow, what a great year I had.
Exactly.
How much I've grown. Look at what we've done.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the energy of 500 and above. Gratitude takes you up to 700. That's the energy that human beings thrive in. There's something about this planet that wants us to have that low energy. And I almost feel like there's something feeding off of when we're in pain and when we're in worry. It sounds a little bit woo-woo and sci-fi, but worry we cannot create from. When we're in the higher vibrations, we're all creators. We can all change the world if we focus together. That
absolutely.
It's powerful. The loving energy is what makes us healthy. So everybody you see who's sick, how much not loving energy have they stuck in their body? And they don't realize they can let it go.
Yeah, just by sending love. Just by loving more, loving themselves, loving others.
It's not even you have to love somebody else. You just have to be the energy of love. I love flowers. I love sunshine. I love spring coming. I love the fact that I have electricity and hot showers. I cannot imagine life without. It's little things.
Yeah. So it's not just getting more information, reading books. It's actually living the information and practicing what we're learning.
You can read 1,000 books and it just goes into your filing cabinet.
That's right.
You need to use it. You need to be it. You need to experience it. Life is experiential. experience the joy. Allow
Yes.
yourself to experience joy. So many people come in when they see me. One of the things is I'm not allowed to be happy. I'm not allowed to be myself. Who said so? Because
Right.
they didn't get it when you were a kid. They didn't understand that dancing was a gift. They told me to not fidget. They told me I was clumsy.
Yes.
Ballerina, 19 years. Excuse me, clumsy?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Or I'm shy. Am I really? I can't stop talking.
Yeah. So on that note, I think we will say thank you, Jessy. And
Thank
don't
you
leave
for
just yet. I'm
inviting
just
me.
going to end the broadcast. But thank you so much. It was wonderful. It was energizing. It was fun and very informative as well. Thank you
And
again.
thank
And
you
thanks
for
for being
doing the show.
here.
It's awesome. It's really good.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Bye, Abdul.
Bye bye.